consider the recommendation of the Public Safety Committee concerning a request from Don Trimm regarding the City of Fairbury honoring Don Trimm's community service and commitment to public safety by naming the shooting range in his memory. We have a recommendation for the committee.
Yes, we discussed this at the Public Safety Committee and we were all on board with this. Pending Mr. Bargan's approval of something we're not thinking about.
As far as renaming of the facility, or
Yeah, and putting up a couple signs.
I can't think of any reason you
I
couldn't.
couldn't either, but I sometimes don't think the same way you do.
No, I can't see any problem with doing that.
Yeah, we just wanted to address the council and just give a little history and just make a formal request. My name is Greg Trimm. I'm here this evening with my mother and my three brothers, Keith, Kevin, and Jason. We're here to make a request that the City Council approve naming the law enforcement shooting range located west of town after my dad. First, we have a brief video showing my dad out at the range doing some civilian training.
Hi, I'm Don Trimm. We're at the range today and we're going to be talking a little bit about firearm safety, the proper use of a pistol, things of that nature. I've got 25 years of experience as a police firearms instructor, but the goals of police training are significantly different than that of the civilian population. What Sarah has is a Glock Model 17 9mm, one of the most reliable handguns in the whole world. The Glock has 3 internal safeties and 1 external safety. If you look at the outside, you won't find it. This is the external safety. You keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. What a sight picture looks like? Okay, look in the back, you see the V there, so to speak, and you see this one?
Yeah.
Okay, the top of this white dot should be even with the top of that sight.
Okay.
And then you pull the trigger.
The left one.
Okay, aim at the center red dot, put the top of your front sight on the red dot, and even it up with the back sight. And squeeze the trigger.
Ooh, I was way, way high.
That's much better. Thing probably is off.
Consistently low.
Yeah.
We thought that naming the shooting range after Dad would be a fitting honor for a man who devoted most of his adult life to Fairbury and to public service. I'd like to just briefly summarize some of his contributions. He came to Fairbury in 1961, fresh out of broadcasting school as the news director at KGMT, and along with my mom, quickly became involved with the local JCs, and as part of that community service organization, he helped attract, organize, and MC the Miss Nebraska pageant, which was hosted here in Fairbury in the 1960s. By the late 1960s, still in his 20s, he was elected to the Fairbury City Council for the first time. In the mid-70s, he left his radio career and took over the Jefferson County Ambulance Service. In those days, the ambulance was actually parked in our garage at 4th and K Street, and when you called with an emergency, it rang on a phone in our house. So I would yell at Dad out in the yard, "Hey Dad, the ambulance phone's ringing." You know, he'd run in and so that's how it worked back in those days. But after 5 or 6 years of that, the county actually took over the management of the ambulance service, and he was hired on as a deputy sheriff under Clyde Kelly. But he continued to work with the ambulance also as a deputy sheriff. In the late 1970s and early 80s, he served on the city's Park and Recreation Board. And on a personal note, I'll have you know that I was hired as a lifeguard at the city pool before he was appointed to that board. No nepotism there. He was a police officer for the city of Fairbury for 23 years, retiring as a sergeant in 2002. He served as a firearms instructor for much of that time and continually kept up his own education at the Grand Island Training Facility. He brought his knowledge home and spent a lot of time training officers and developing the current police shooting range. Lastly, in retirement, he again was elected to the City Council in 2006, proudly continuing his community service, serving with some of you here. he reluctantly resigned his position as health issues started to mount. Considering Don Trimm's passion for community service and law enforcement, as well as his devotion to officer and public safety, we respectfully request the city honor his memory by naming the shooting range the Donald D. Trimm Law Enforcement Shooting Range. As you may know, we've been raising memorial funds from friends, family, and the community. And with the guidance from Chief Sprunk and Sheriff Sorensen, we hope to provide signage and a plaque inside the facility, and remaining funds will go toward improvements at the range. Two of my dad's closest friends, Tom and Connie Schmidt, have traveled here from the Kansas City area tonight to be here. It was their idea back in January to make this request, and Connie would like to make a brief presentation, and then we'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Thanks.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you all very much for the opportunity to be here tonight and to speak with all of you regarding Don. My name is Connie Schmidt, and I'm here speaking on behalf of my husband Tom, who's in the back row. He and Don grew up together. They are lifelong friends from childhood. They both entered the career of law enforcement early in their life, but in different parts of the country. Don was here in Fairbury, and my husband was in law enforcement in the Kansas City metropolitan area. They both retired after spending their life in that line of work in law enforcement. After Don passed away in January, as Greg said, the family received monetary contributions were coming in, and we spent some time thinking, what would Don want to use this money for? And immediately it came to us that the thought that for the city of Fairbury, first of all, he would want the money to go to the city of Fairbury, and particularly to the shooting range and the firearms training, which he did a lot of that at the police academy in Grand Island on numerous occasions. So he spent a lot of his off-duty hours doing that. His focus was always on officer safety and being prepared for the unexpected. And that included firearms safety and officer training. He focused on encouraging the requirement that all police officers be required to be qualified to use the firearm that they actually carried when they were on the job, that they be certified and qualified on that weapon. He believed that officers in the city of Fairbury should always be as prepared for the unexpected as officers trained and on duty in larger cities such as Omaha and Lincoln. Don felt very strongly about that. He knew that the unexpected could happen anywhere and at any time. In his off-duty hours, he also devoted countless hours to mentoring not only police officers, but hunting enthusiasts, sports shooters, anyone in the practice of firearms safety, as you saw in the video. It was his passion, and it was something he was always involved in. We believe strongly that Don's legacy to public safety and firearms training must continue. His family and friends believe it would be his wish that future generations continue to learn and benefit from the efforts that he has made over the years to facilitate the training and the professionalism of law enforcement here in Jefferson County and in the city of Fairbury. So the dedication of the shooting range in Fairbury, in his memory, provides that tribute to him. And we'd like to thank you for consideration of our request in Don's memory. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Any other questions at all? Thank you very much.
I'd make a motion to approve said request.
Second. Been moved and seconded that we approve the request for naming the shooting range after Don Trimm. Any other comments? Please cast your vote. Olson, Bailey, Carmichael, Brown, Blossler, Bender, Kazell, Davis, all voting yes. Motion carried. Thank you very much.